Thank you, y'all, for coming to part two of this video. I appreciate you so much. That part one was so interesting, and I love the way it ended because I don't write all this out before I do most of these videos. I just start talking. I just think of the subject matter and I just start talking about it. So that's what empathic people do. They question themselves and they question other empaths on their part of why they did it. And they put no blame or very little blame on the narcissists or psychopaths. And in my opinion, that's just not the best way to live because it's just not always one person's fault. So, and this is the thing too. You got to remember this. The difference between you being in no contact as an empathic person and the narcissist being in no contact or the psychopath, they don't feel bad about it. Now, when this particular relative died, of course I questioned myself because I was in a physical no contact before the narcissist completely discarded me. I was basically forcing the psychopath or narcissist to discard me. I set up the foundation for it. If I would have been going to visit the narcissist or psychopath, being a supply source, continuously being used and abused, that particular relative may never have gone no contact. So you're protecting yourself. It's not a healthy cycle. Here's $40. Here's $100. Hey, how you doing? But then within a week or two, you a bunch of bitches again. It's just not a good cycle. And if you're a guy, whatever guy names they calling you, sometimes men are being called a bunch of bitches too. You get called the same thing women do nowadays. Because that's just how much regard a psychopath and narcissist has for you. They don't really have much regard for you. So both people humbly asked me that question. And at the end of the day, like I said, when part one ended, that relative could have visited me too. And I still tried. I mean, in 2018, when I seen things and hearing that things were going bad for the narcissist, I still asked her. This was a female relative that passed. I still asked her if she would like to come back so I could help her. Her coming back, I didn't need the help. I was fine in my situation. I wasn't on drugs. I wasn't losing the rest of my kids that I had. I wasn't in those situations. So I was still offering help from the love in my heart, but she turned it down. And the reason I asked her if she wanted to return back to the West Coast where she was raised originally, part of her life, she had lived here. I asked because I saw death coming to her and I didn't want her to die. But remember, narcissists, they don't make sound decisions. You could tell a narcissist, it's a fire around the corner, they're shooting. That narcissist is going to say, well, fuck you. I'm going to the store. Fuck you. They don't care. They might even go anyway to spite you. Well, if I die, I die. They don't care much about their life in the same way that you may. So this is a healing journey. I already went through what I would call breaking no contact through crying. I did a couple of videos about that. Those videos was part 2 and part 1 too. I put those 2 videos under sad management. So I began there. And so I'm consistently doing sad management. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm alive and you're alive. And you can't just sit around and keep crying every day over somebody that discarded you or somebody that was pretty much just making contact with you so they could get their bills paid or so you could be paying for their motel. I mean, it's just not a good idea. You just got to move on with your life and try to live out the best of your life. Pray for this person, pray that they don't be in fire. They're not tortured in their graves and in no type of hell in the afterlife. Pray that they're in some form of a paradise. That's all you can do. However, I'm glad that I'm in the situation that I am. And I wonder, a lot of empaths, I'm glad that I'm not no empath that's on no drugs and alcohol, because I'm not going to lie. Those questions that was asked to me about going to visit, just say I had a full-blown drinking problem, that might have triggered me to drinking. A lot of empaths, they're not rational. So they just go in this deep depression. Oh, I didn't go see such and such. Oh, ha, ha, ha. I didn't go see him. But they didn't come see you neither. They had no interest. And to prove my point, she refused to come back to the West Coast, even though my relative had lived part of her life here. She refused to come back. And she knew my boundaries. I mean, the criteria that I had was for, okay, when you come back, you got to go right into inpatient drug treatment. And she wasn't ready for that. She ended up doing it anyway for the relatives out of town. It didn't work. And that's another thing with narcissists and psychopaths. They never want to put themselves in the place where they really got to fix their life. She wanted to stay down there and have the other relative help her that is an alcoholic, that is on marijuana. See, I don't do none of that stuff. And she wasn't ready for that. She didn't want to come back to where somebody is going to be helping her that's drug free. If you on drugs and alcohol, you need to get the hell away from addicts. I don't care if they're your uncles, your daddies, your aunties, your mamas. Your best chance of being drug free is to get out of the midst of other alcoholics and drug addicts. So there probably was like a phobia or a fear, but at the end of the day, it's over with now. Fortunately, that's the beauty of the afterlife. If you're an addict here on this earth, once you pass away, you no longer have to be addicted on this earth to drugs and alcohol. You're free of that now. So I think the freedom of death is so beautiful to me. And the freedom of life is so beautiful. But I don't regret no contact. Because the Lord controls so much of my life. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to tell you this. I ain't that powerful. If the Lord really wanted me around you, I don't care who you are, I'm going to be around you. And I did another video with this particular relative. She consistently talked about me like a dog behind my back. One person told me she talked about you bad often. And so this is the thing with the no contact. And I mentioned this to my male relative. I said I protected myself from a bunch of more stuff that would have been going on. So this is what I did. Okay. With no contact, this is what I'm realizing happened in this situation. They can't say nothing bad, like because I wasn't going down to Texas. They can't say I beat her up when she was a woman. They can't say I stabbed her, fought with her. They can't say I did nothing to her kids. And the same vice versa. I can't say she did any of this stuff to me because she's another woman just like I am, right? So I can't say she did none of this stuff to me because we were in physical no contact. So what happens is it minimizes the situation where it's not all this evidence being left that does nothing but further damage the situation. And it's done with now. So I'm going to give you this advice. If you are not brave enough to understand the consequences of no contact, because what I'm doing here in this part 1 and part 2, this is part 2, I'm telling you the side effect and the result of no contact. And the result is one of y'all die, and a couple of empaths are going to ask you a question. And hopefully it's a couple of empathic people that ask you the question and not other narcissists, because you should not be in contact with a bunch of narcissists. Your surroundings should be around people that have empathy. I've discarded a bunch of narcissists. So, another situation. There's one particular sister I was like best friends with. When my relative died in Texas, she said, I love you to the relative. Okay, that's fine. But that's a Hoover. Now, this particular best friend is very abusive, y'all. She wanted them girlfriends. And when I say girlfriends, I don't mean no intimate lover or nothing like that. I'm straight, I'm heterosexual. So I'm not into women. However, I love women. They can be my friends, but I ain't gonna be with no woman in no relationship. I'm just not like, that's not my sexuality. So, and I'm not downgrading you if you're bisexual or gay or homosexual or a lesbian, whatever you are, that's your prerogative. I'm quite sure all my subscribers ain't straight. I'm quite sure I got some bisexual subscribers. I mean, over 500 people, you mean to tell me they're all straight? No, that's not reality. So I just want to cover that. Just come to the videos, tune into the videos. This is not a channel to straighten your sexuality out. Now, I'm not going to encourage homosexuality on here. I'm not going to suggest that you be that way, because I do believe in the Bible and an afterlife. However, if you are gay, you just gay. And you might have a better heart than somebody that's straight. Your heart might be better than mine. I don't feel like your heart and your true character really has a whole lot to do with sexuality. I think they're separate in some way for some people. Other people, it may be different. So anyway, what was I saying? I forgot my point, y'all. Oh my Lord, I forgot what I was saying. I don't remember, and I can't rewind this video to bring up my point. I have to think of another point. I don't know. I lost my mind, y'all. So anyway, yeah, if you can't deal with the fact of the consequences and the result of no contact, don't do it. Because the result is one of y'all gonna die, and you gotta be okay with the situation. Oh, and also I was saying, okay, I know what I was saying. I just thought about it. Okay. So the sister that I was best friends with that left the comment when my relative passed saying that she loved her or whatever. Now, in that situation, I'm in no contact with that particular sister. I love that sister, but I know how abusive she can be. She's one of those people where she loved to name call and stuff like that. And there was an incident where she even called my children names to me, not my children. She did it to me. That sister was going through a lot. I mean, She had went through a lot herself, and I get it. I forgive her. However, I remember one of her statements. She liked to argue a lot. One of her statements was she thought I was jealous of her. Oh my God. And that's one of my deal breakers too. Back then I had the little tip top little body. I wasn't obese. I wasn't overweight. I wasn't chubby. I wasn't none of that. And she was. I mean, and I'm being honest to God, y'all. It ain't nothing about that damn woman to be jealous of. For one, I'm not a materialistic person. I don't, if you got Beyonce's house, I don't care. Because I don't want it. I don't even know if I would buy Beyonce's house if I had the money. I'm one of those types. I might have $1 billion and be in the little house on the prairie house. It'd be real clean. I got the barn outside, and you come in and be like, ooh, it's spotless, fresh air. I'm into that type of stuff. Fresh air, some leather furniture. It's a lot of stuff I don't have. Like I don't need to hang no curtains up. I'm fine with blinds. So just like my series I started, or the episodes I started about simple living. It's simple living. So I'm excited about the little things in life. And what keeps that excitement going is I don't have Beyonce's house. So it's a big deal when I buy a couch. I don't drink soda pop on a regular. So it's a big deal that I'm sitting up here with this sweet tea in this mug. See, I make things so simple that when things get more than just simple, I'm excited about it. I can sleep and feel good, not high, because I don't know what it feels like to be high on all these drugs. I don't need a crack high because I ain't never got on crack. You see what I mean? So that's how I do things in a simple way too. But like I was saying with this particular sister, and yeah, that's what made me bring up the homosexual thing or gay thing, because I was just stating that she was a girlfriend. However, I got to deal with the fact if that sister died, I love that sister in my own way. I don't have no grudge against her. I'm not mad with her no more. But if that sister died, and she was one of my best friends, like a sister to me, 16 years. However, I dealt with her ass long enough to know what the fuck she's about. And what she's about is a bunch of damn abuse. And I got plenty of girlfriends and female friends that don't act like that. I don't need the shit in my life. And with this particular girlfriend, when I would go no contact, or this particular best friend, when I would go no contact, she always pulled me in by doing something very kind. So I recognized her damn pattern. And she came right back in with the kindness when my relative died in Texas. I didn't fall for it. Now, a lot of people that are empathic would have gave her ass a chance. Oh, she left that comment. Oh, she said she's sad because my relative passed. And don't get me wrong, I know I'm judged for it. My no contact, I'm judged for it. I just am. However, I sleep well, y'all. I feel the good quality of the air. The relatives that are in my midst, it may not be a bunch of them, they're in general kind to me. I don't live a combative, dangerous, violent life. I don't wake up scared that somebody's going to beat my ass today. I don't deal with none of that. I'm very much at peace, and I don't think I would be feeling this peace. I'm motivated to take care of my health. I'm on this bike right now. I'm doing a lot of the things that my relative that passed away gave up on doing. And that's because her no contact game wasn't tight enough. She discarded me, but you know what? With psychopaths and narcissists, this is the difference between empaths and them too. They discard the wrong people. They discard the good people that have the ability to fix their problem. They're not discarding those psychopaths. And the reason they don't do that is because despite what y'all hear, psychopaths are easily manipulated. That psychopath was paying for her motel before she passed. She could manipulate that psychopath. But that psychopath wasn't dumb enough to stand his ass up and speak for her when she was deceased. He not that goddamn dumb. Because at the end of the day, they was victimizing each other. And the whole time I was in no contact. I didn't have to deal with none of it. I just backed off. And the thing with me, y'all, this is why it's easy for me to be in no contact from these toxic type of people. I always had something else to do. I knew from the time I was a little girl, I remember me and my bestie, we would play with the fashion girl dolls and the Barbie dolls and the baby dolls. We would have a whole dollhouse set up. I knew from the time I was a child how to occupy my time. I was in ballet, jazz, tap. When I was in middle school, I was in drama, which is acting. And this is one of the things that I enjoy about doing these videos because, I've never ended up being no famous actress or whatever, right? However, it was fun. I had a lot of fun doing plays and ballet concerts and stuff like that. And those were memorable times. I played instruments, even in high school. I played the clarinet. But high school is when it began to kind of go downhill, okay? And that's because I was at high school meeting some freaking psychopaths. However, I have some very good friends that are empathic that I still communicate with from high school. So they weren't all psychopaths. And those friends are still in my life today. Even though we're out of town, we talk. They showed so much love when my relative passed away. So I appreciate it. So that's the thing with me. No contact goes fast when I'm in no contact because I just have other things to do. And I'm also one of those family oriented people where I'm focused on the home base. I don't like to argue and be in no fights all the time. In general, I'm a sweet lady. I can say that about myself. And because in my soul I'm a sweet lady, I just shy away from bad situations, whether it be with my daughters, my sons, siblings, or whatever. I just don't want to be involved in a bunch of chaos. And I'm blessed to be out of town because all that Texas stuff that was going on, I didn't deal with none of that stuff on a major level. So it protected me from being a supply source and being injured. Empaths get injured too, y'all. You hear a lot about narcissistic injuries, and that's when the narcissist is hurt or the psychopath is also hurt. However, empaths are injured too. Emotional injuries, not just physical injuries. And empathic people, we never want to make the other psychopaths and narcissists accountable. So I'm going to live guilt free. That one piece of that grieving, wondering if I should have been around more. Hey, I did what I could do. I'm in an expensive state. Everybody knew that I was a single mom. Nobody ever offered to help. And also, that's another thing to look at. Look at how people treat you when they have a higher income. Some of these people can buy a plane ticket without even sneezing. A plane ticket is nothing for them. They don't have to worry about babysitters and all of that. So I was in a situation where my little children many years ago were small, and that was a lot taking my children out of town. They were in school. Nobody was helping me like that, So I have to deal with the fact that I had limited resources. And like I said, where I live is very expensive. Vehicles, rents, everything's high. Food, I try to minimize my debt, and I try to keep things kind of simple. Like I did doing my episode, Simple Living. So I just have to live with the no contact. I had a relative tell me earlier, and I did a spiritual teaching about this. You got to be careful when these teenagers be joking around. My relative, he's a male, he's young, he's a teenager. My baby boy, trying to give me a compliment on the slide, looked at me and said, "Wow, you looking younger every day. Like, what's going on? Like, why aren't you getting older?" And like I tell y'all, I'm gonna add a beauty tip to this, okay? Because sometimes I throw in a beauty tip. I did my cool water thing when I went to the pool. I'm also gonna be doing a video. I might do that next after I get off this video about narcissistic people and narcissists and psychopaths watching kids in the swimming pool, y'all. I'm going to tell you why kids drown. I'll do a separate video on that. I might do that right after this video. So, that cool water on your face, doing that water as cool as possible while you're in the shower, it does help. It tightens the skin up and everything. It makes that skin so pretty. And my relatives said, "Oh, you're looking younger and younger." And I've been working on like not feeling like I have to have makeup on. That helps too. But my baby boy, he joked. He said, "Well, what, the devil got you looking good or something, mom?" Or something to that effect. And I said, "Hold on now. Don't compliment me and give no credit to no devil. Because if I'm looking younger every day, like you say, son, it's only because of the Lord and the angels that's in my life. Ain't no devil. I give no credit to no devil doing anything for me." And I told my relative, "Don't joke with me like that. Take it back. And you correct that. Because I'm here to teach you the righteous way." I said, now if I was looking bad and I look like I'm tore down more and more every day, then you blame the devil for that. But if you think I'm looking better and younger and you think I look healthy, because the Lord told me to do that cold water, 30-minute cold water thing, y'all, it tightens that skin up, at least for a couple of weeks till you do another one. It tightens all that up. You ain't got all that junk hanging off your neck. And, you got to be careful with that weight. But that's my little trick, y'all. It works. That's my beauty tip. And I do that sometimes on this channel. I always kind of throw it in sometimes when I do that part 1 or part 2. So that'll be y'all motivation to tune in to part 2 and part 1 of my longer videos, because I do throw in a health tip. So that's my health tip. So I did that when I was at the swimming pool. And so, and my baby boy, he probably didn't want to, when you're complimenting your mom, you want to be careful. This ain't your woman, this ain't your girlfriend. You're complimenting your mama. But you looking at your mama like, "Mama, you older and stuff, but You older than me, mom, but you ain't looking too bad. But the thing is today, no makeup. All that makeup stuff, you don't need all that. And a lot of time it ages you out. Focus on skincare. So instead of putting on a bunch of makeup, I focused on my cool water for my face and getting that skin right. I'm big on skin, y'all. I love to take care of skin and do natural things to take care of skin. So that's the thing, with me, when I'm in no contact, I'm not worried about no psychopath or narcissist because I know how to spend my time. And the way I spend my time is not with them. For what? See, that's when my baby boy would have been saying, "Ooh, you look toe down, mama. Who blacked your eye today?" I don't want nobody saying that type of stuff to me. Mom, you look like one of your jaws sunk in. Oh, son, I've been crying all this week. I'm crying about another psychopath or narcissist. So it's really and at the end of the day, it's a blessing because I'm gonna tell you something. I don't believe that the Lord, at the end of the day, no matter what they were, the psychopath, the narcissist, y'all love one another. At least you love them at a minimum. They tried to love you, it didn't work, but there's love there, even if it's just one sided. And I think it's better for one of y'all to pass away without the fighting. That's the good thing about it. Y'all discarded one another, one of y'all died, at least y'all wasn't fighting. The worst thing that I would want is to have one of my relatives die and I say, wow, the day before they died, we was calling each other a bunch of bitch motherfuckers. That's fucked up. So you got to look at the benefits of the no contact. All the fighting stopped. Peace came. And then one of you passes away. I believe that that's how the Lord would want us to pass. In peace, not fighting with each other. And that's just the way it happened. It was just meant to be that way. I wish it could have worked out better. None of us know fully when our last day is. However, psychopaths and narcissists, they create these man-made deaths. Because a lot of psychopaths and narcissists were meant to live longer. But you won't live longer doing risky behaviors, speeding when you driving, doing drugs, getting into violent fights with people. You won't live out all your days like that. So this is what I experienced. These empaths asked me these questions. I answered them as thoroughly as I could. And hey, you live by example. They watching you move on too. My relative, the man that I was telling you about, he'll say stuff like, you're going to cry more and grieve or whatever. But see, that's what we're taught to do. We're taught that when somebody dies, we can't stop crying. Yes, you can, especially in these situations. You did a lot of your healing with psychopaths and narcissists when you were in no contact. You was already healing before they died. It's not meant for you to keep crying and wasting your life away over people you truly didn't get along with. I don't care who they were. If they were your son, your daughter, it doesn't really matter. The relationship, what matters is y'all didn't get along. And the Lord left you on earth here to be around people that you do get along with. And your no contact will be questioned. It just will. Especially when they die. You know, the devil would love for me to take those questions to heart and I go get on some drugs. I go commit suicide. I go OD on some Tylenol or some old crazy crap. I mean, don't do it. But what I do think people should do, and this is just genuine how I feel, if the people you were in no contact with, whether they be psychopaths or narcissists, if they have offspring, try to build a better relationship with their offspring. That's all you can do is help the kids, help the youth. That's all you can do. You can't do nothing about corrupted relationships that are already corrupted because it took two. And I'm going to stand on this. That situation with that relative that was a grown ass woman. That grown ass woman, even though them other psychopaths and narcissists in Texas want to treat her like a baby her whole freaking life, when technically they have no control of how her life is going to end. None of them was there when she died because it wasn't up to them to be there if she died. See, that's the proof right there. Babying people, the Lord made her grow up because the Lord say, this your day here. Your time is up here. And that's how it's going to work for the rest of us too. Even if we are not killed, it's going to work like that if you die in a nursing home. But at the end of the day, when you're dealing with an adult, no matter who they are to you, your daughter, your son, nieces, nephews, cousins, best friends, no matter who they are, adopted relatives, when they become an adult, or y'all the same age, sometimes y'all the same age because you siblings, they are just as liable and responsible for y'all relationship as you are. It takes two, y'all. And that's why the empathic people are in your life still. Because it took two for y'all to get that relationship back on track. And so remember that, y'all. Be careful with taking the full blame for situations that you did not have full control over. Because you are not no Lord, y'all. You just ain't the Lord. You're a human being. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye.